there are some things that players would love to see change about this game, and then there are some things that would actually make a difference. And I really want to talk about that in this particular video. And to be honest, there'll be a part two because there's so much really to talk about here. Um, but more importantly, like the future content that's going to be coming from this channel, man, I find it really hard to log onto this game and grind days and hours and months and stuff like that on end, and oh man, it's ridiculous. So you're going to be seeing a lot of content like this mostly. So let's get started. So people complain about things like ranked PvP, old scratch, blood flames, doubloons. Yeah, they're absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, they're broken. But at the end of the day, who's forcing players to queue up and rank? Who's forcing players to who's forcing players to pick old scratch, equip blood flames, farm their life away for them? Not to mention, right? No one's forcing players to use those. Those are things that can very simply be unequipped or unselected or not participated in. Okay, if you do PvP in this game, do it in Spar. Okay, that's where all the serious PvP is done in this game. Okay, you could have the devs work the behinds off trying to fix ranked PvP, and they've done some work on ranked PvP, right? Or you could go here where you actually have a choice on what you use and what rules you make before you hop on the sigil. To be honest, this bar is a better system. It's been shown that way time and time again. So what actually needs to be changed? We need to dig deep into the combat itself. Let's take damage rolls. That's a great place to start. Okay, so any attack in this game, you can't make any rules around this, guys. I think Contessa's a great unit to use for this because she's got a backstab. So let me find Contessa. This backstab right here could do 400 damage, or it could do 1,300 damage. This is a 900 damage difference. Okay, it's ridiculous. And it gets even worse with like Assassin Strikes and Poisons. Poisons can do 73 damage per turn, which ends up being, roughly 250 or something like that. Or it could do like 412 damage. That's absolutely ridiculous. So it could do 250 damage, or it could do 1,600 damage. What? And it's based off of pure chance. Like, this is the kind of stuff that's getting people to quit the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, this is a great place to get over into criticals, because this is how they currently work, okay? It's based off of a chance. So first you add in things like discipline and enduring discipline and shadow dance. Then you add in the base stat ratio for your chance to critical. That's how it currently works, right? It's based off of a chance to do even more damage. Okay? To get things like what I talked about with the poison, part of that's based off of the damage rolls, and part of that is based off of the crit system as well. Okay? So first of all, the damage rolls, so I can actually bury that once and for all. You need to just get rid of those things. Like, they're not doing anything for us. They just make the game worse. The critical system, how should that be addressed? It should be moved off of a flat damage basis. It should onto a flat damage basis. Okay, what do I mean by that? You take the base stat that your weapon is based off of. Let's just say your strength, and you have 200 strength. And your opponent has 175 strength. Okay? You go for an attack. Your attacks will do 25 extra true damage. That means the damage basically avoids all armor and all magic resist. Okay? A little bit of damage that is true damage. Okay? That's what it should be moved to. Simply put. Flat damage. Alright. So, we pretty much got all that out of the way as far as that goes. I think the next thing, while we're on the subject of damage, we should talk about chains, okay? Chains and of course, the stuns on Vengeance Strike. I think having a 35% chance for something to happen that could chain into even bigger things, or could stop a huge attack, I think that that's like one of the worst things in this entire game. A 35% chance. It's like, do I feel risky? You know, am I going to greed? Am I going to make bad plays? Oh, guess what? It paid off. I was stupid. And I won because I was stupid. You know, like a 35% chance for something to happen. Like, how bad can it get, guys? Like, really? Oh, gosh. So, I'm going to pretty much, lump all the variants of Relentless altogether. You know, there's Burst Fire, Mojo, Echo. Okay, so I'm just going to refer to them all as Relentless, right? So it's a 35% chance for it to trigger. It can trigger off of any of the other epics. Riposte, Blade Storm, Vengeance Strike, Repel Borders. It can go off of a Blade Storm as well, which is kind of why Relentless and Blade Storm together are collectively referred to as chaining epics, because they kind of chain into each other a lot. An extra attack gives you an extra chance of critical. A Blade Storm gives you an extra chance to get a Relentless, and so on and so forth. And that can all be triggered off of a 35% chance. Obviously, when you do the math, it's a little bit, when you lump all those together, but still, it's kind of ridiculous. Okay, and that's why I think that those two things should be separated. Okay. I think that Relentless should be a guaranteed attack that should only take effect when a basic hit is selected on a unit. So if you go for an attack on a unit and you don't use any cards, all three of Relentlesses should hit. Okay? All three of them should hit. Of course, that's not factoring the accuracy and the dodge, right? Which I'll be talking about how they should do that in just a bit, okay? Now, when you select a card in you attack, say a stab, or sneak attack, or, a vicious or brittle charge or something like that, then all three of the Blade Storms should hit, and none of the Relentlesses should hit. Okay? That's how that should be work. It should be broken up. Blade Storm should not be based off of criticals. Okay? Or anything that has to do with chance. That's really how it should work. It should be that simple and that straightforward. Okay? Alright. Moving right along. I mentioned accuracy and dodge. How should those be dealt with? Currently, it's based off of a chance, right? It's, I think the base is like 75, and then you have your own stat, and then, that's offset by your opponent's dodge, right? Like, let's say we have El Toro here, right? He has, 133 accuracy. Let's just say he goes to attack another El Toro. Let's go ahead and calculate the chance he has of dodging, or the opponent has of dodging that attack, I should say. So let's see, plus 75, and we divide that by 154, and that gives us, or I should say, not divide. I mean, you subtract 154. My bad. And that gives us about a 54% chance of the opponent to dodge, right? So that's currently how the accuracy in this game works. My main point is that it shouldn't be worked off of a chance. It should be based off of a flat ratio. Okay? Yeah, you hit in a Spirit of Core, and, it gives you, let's just say it gives you plus 1 hit and plus 2 dodges. That's basically what I'm saying, okay? Now, the exact numbers on all that, that could be messed around with. Okay, I don't know the exact the exact numbers on what that would be, but I think it should be moved to a ratio. That's what I'm saying right there. Quite simply put. And that would allow things like shadow dance. Wouldn't it be fun to move that instead of having it make it so you do more criticals? It gives you a certain number of guaranteed dodges. Of course, those guaranteed dodges could be offset by an accuracy buff, which would give you guaranteed hits. See, guaranteed hits would be something that overrides the guaranteed dodges. That's all that would be. Hopefully that makes some sense. If y'all have some ideas of your own, or you want to have that clarified, definitely hit me up in the comments, because I know that that's confusing, and it was weird when I thought of this, because I kind of just thought of it now, actually, as I was making the video. That they really should rework accuracy and dodge to be just flat-out ratios instead of being chances. So, if you disagree with me, please explain all that, because, I could be wrong here. But I think we're kind of we pretty much covered the damage rolls, criticals, epics and chains stuff, and the chances to hit and all that. Okay, the next thing that I think that really needs to change is how stuns work in this game. Okay, let's take Vengeance Strike. So a Vengeance Strike could stun on the very first turn based off of a 35% chance. Okay, if that happens, not only does the opponent not do their chain damage, but they also have their attack completely halted. So let's just say Swashbuckler's going in for an Assassin Strike, okay? He could dodge all 3 of the Vengeance Strikes and get his Assassin Strike off. He could get stunned on the, second or third one and do quite a bit of chain damage, okay? Or he can get stunned right away and do no damage, basically. It's ridiculous. Or I should say, only 1 hit of damage, because that's what it takes for a Vengeance Strike to trigger. But y'all kind of get my point. Vengeance Strike should not work that way. If it stuns at all, it should be after a certain set number of hits. Okay? Personally, I think it might be okay to completely remove stuns. Okay? When it comes to a Buccaneer's Vengeance Strike. But I'd be perfectly fine with having the stun happen on the 3rd hit. Every single time. One place they could move stuns to would be the Haywire Shots and Haywire Strikes. Because so you actually have to use a card in order to stun. And that would also solve another issue that we have. The Haywire meta. Okay? Haywire Shots and Haywire Strikes could do anywhere from like 100 to like 2,000 damage. Just stupid, right? More RNG that we totally needed in this game. Not to mention the fact that it could stun you or your opponent randomly, or it can push people back, a random number of squares. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but you're wrong. It was a horrible idea, right? So that covers stuns. I hope I'm going to cover everything having to do with combat in this video, but I may have to fit a couple of things into the next video if I forget. The next thing is the spawn. This one's probably not as important as the others, but it does screw over some classes in particular, mostly Witch Doctor and to some extent Musketeers, because those are the classes that rely most on the line of sight. Okay, you spawn behind a pillar and you get second turn. When that happens, because the battle board is also so small, okay, now that's relative. Some people would say that it's rather big, but the reason I say that it's rather small is because you can easily get across it in 2 turns. If you have any type of common sense and you've trained fast too, right? So you're a Witch Doctor, you're over here, you spawn and you get second turn, you're stuck behind a pillar. The Swashbuckler's in your face before you can even do an attack. Like, come on, guys, come on. The difference between doing 2 attacks before the guy even, gets to you, or doing no attacks and he's straight in your face. I mean, come on. Can't we have a consistent spawn? Seriously. That's something you cannot avoid in this game. So that needs to be fixed too. Next thing. We really need the cards in our deck to show up in the order that we arrange them. Okay? Now, I get the logic. Well, meaning I've heard the explanation. I've heard it, right? I don't think it's a very good explanation for why it's in the game. I don't think it should be in the game at all. But the explanation is basically that people should be able to deal with that it's fun to deal with unexpected situations. Yeah, but if you can't get yourself an assassin strike or a fort when you need it after burning your hand 5 times, you pretty much lose the game pointlessly. And that is not fun. Well, losing in general is not fun, but losing simply because you are unlucky is just like a stupid type of unfun that makes you want to quit the game. Okay, actually quit the game. So, and play better games, because there are better games out there, I'm not saying, oh, y'all have to do this or that. No, y'all don't have to listen to any of the stuff that I'm saying. I'll move on and I will play different games if none of these changes are implemented, okay? As simple as that. Right? I want a game that I could take a little more seriously. Because when I go to have fun and I go to relax, I like being competitive, okay? Not everyone's the same. But I like a quality game, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, make it so the cards show up in the right order. Another alternative would be, keep the cards coming in randomly and then give us a side deck so we can pull like the 1 or 2 cards that we absolutely need from it. Kind of like they had in Wiz with treasure cards. Although there are some issues with, people getting a hold of exclusive treasure cards and using them to have a super duper big advantage in PvP, like elucidates, a lot of you people who play Pirate know Wiz pretty well as well, so y'all know what that is. But if you don't, I was basically allowing people to use higher attacks earlier on because of how the pip cost system works in that game. Simply because they had a super rare treasure card that they were able to pull from their side deck. I'm not saying that we should have any super duper powerful treasure cards, but say simple cards you could pull from a side deck, like like an Assassin Strike or Valor Fortress or Revive or something like that. So there could be some consistency in your deck, so you wouldn't be losing games as much because of your deck. Simply put. So yeah, those are the unavoidable things that that as far as combat in general goes. I am missing one more. Of course, there's the fort glitch, right? 4v4s used to be the bread and butter of this game. Okay, now pretty much everyone does 1v1s who's serious about this, and you have some people like me, Rio, and Phoenix and some other people who do 3v3s, right? Which is kind of like the remnant of what's left from the 4v4 community. So that could be brought back, and it would bring in a lot of hype because clan wars used to be a big thing in this game. But basically the fort glitch makes it so that you can't use any time protections. So basically what it would do is if you use time protections, it'd make your player immune eventually. So you put on a fort, that would not wear off. You put on another one. So the timers on these particular abilities, the display would show them going out, but they wouldn't actually go out. So basically you become permanently immune. So that's basically what the fort glitch is, and it happens in 4v4s. And they haven't fixed that thing for a good 5 years or so. And that's why no one does 4v4s. So I had to throw that in there right at the end. But the main point of this video is there are things in this game that may seem like problems, and they certainly are, but they don't need to be addressed right away. The things that are actually causing people to quit are core issues. Combat, things that cannot be avoided. Those are the things that deserve immediate attention right away, and those are the sort of things that if they don't get fixed, I'll end up quitting this game. Like, I know I've got like a channel this size, But I mean, guys, but come on, guys. Like, am I really going to be playing this game? Am I really going to put myself through this for even longer? Like, yeah, I'm. Yeah, expect a part two. I'll be talking a little bit about the farming and PvE aspects of the game. Not that combat isn't part of that as well, but you know, more what's required in order to get a character, ready to be a part of the end game, basically. Be competitive in the end game. So expect a video about that. And yeah, other than that, y'all have a great rest of the day. Uh, once again, I'm not going to be grinding this game, quite as much. So be expecting lengthy videos of me ranting, uncut all that, a lot more. So, peace.